Here's something that might surprise you. Many entrepreneurs don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they repeat the same few mistakes over and over again. Mistakes that don't just slow progress, they can quietly cost people years. Years of energy, years of momentum, years of opportunity. And the challenging part is that many of these mistakes look like progress in the beginning. So in this episode, we're going to talk about 7 mistakes that new entrepreneurs commonly make and how to avoid them. If you're building a business, growing a side hustle, or thinking about starting something of your own, this conversation will help you move forward with clarity. Welcome to the On The Go podcast, where we talk about building real progress, not just staying busy. Let's get into it. Many aspiring entrepreneurs delay starting because they're searching for the perfect idea, something completely unique, something guaranteed to succeed, something that no one else has thought of before. But the truth is, clarity rarely comes from thinking alone. It usually comes from starting and refining as you go. For example, someone might spend a year brainstorming business ideas, reading books, watching YouTube videos, writing notes. But another person starts a small service, say tutoring, they're consulting, or selling products online. And within 6 months, they've already learned what works, what doesn't, and what customers actually want. One person stayed in theory and the other gained real-world insight. Progress creates clarity. Entrepreneurship can feel like a lonely journey. So many people try to figure everything out by themselves. They don't ask questions. They don't seek mentorship. They try to learn every lesson the hard way. But building alone often slows growth. For example, imagine someone trying to launch a small online business. They spend weeks struggling with things like pricing, marketing, or building a website. Meanwhile, someone else speaks to a mentor or joins a community of entrepreneurs, and in one conversation, they gain insights that would have taken them months to figure out. The right guidance doesn't replace effort, but it can accelerate learning dramatically. Ambitious people often have many ideas, and you know what? That's a beautiful thing. But without focus, those ideas can become distractions. For example, someone might start a clothing brand and get excited about starting a podcast, and then they decide that they want to launch an online business, and then they begin exploring property investment. Each idea might be good, but constantly shifting focus means none of the ideas receive enough energy to truly grow. Successful entrepreneurs often win not because they had the best idea, but because they gave one idea enough time and focus to develop. Focus multiplies progress. We live in a world that celebrates overnight success stories, but what we rarely see are the years behind those stories, the learning, the setbacks, the slow progress. Someone might start a YouTube channel or a business and expect meaningful results within 3 or 4 months. But many successful creators and entrepreneurs spent years building consistency before things really took off. For example, someone might publish 10 videos and feel discouraged that their audience is still small. But the person who keeps publishing consistently for 2 or 3 years often becomes the one that people say is an overnight success. Growth takes time. Entrepreneurs can be very busy. They're planning, they're researching, they're watching tutorials, they're designing logos, they're attending webinars. All of that can feel very productive, but activity and progress are not the same thing. For example, Someone might spend weeks perfecting their logo or website design before they even have one single customer. Meanwhile, another entrepreneur launches quickly, speaks to potential customers, tests their products, and learns directly from the market. One person is preparing while the other is progressing. Real progress often involves action that feels uncomfortable. Comparison can quietly destroy motivation, especially in the age of social media. You might see someone celebrating a business milestone, someone else launching a product, and then someone else posting about their financial success, and then suddenly you feel behind. But what we rarely see are the years of effort, of mistakes, and persistence behind those moments. For example, someone may appear to have built a successful business very quickly, but they may have spent years building skills, relationships, or experimenting before launching their product or their business. Your journey has its own timeline, so focus on building something real, not just something that looks impressive online. Consistency is where most success is built, not in dramatic bursts of motivation, but steady effort repeated over time. Many entrepreneurs start with excitement. They work intensely for a few weeks or a few months, but when life becomes busy or motivation fades, progress slows. For example, someone might record a few podcast episodes or work on their business intensely for a short period, and then they stop for months. But the person who keeps showing up, even when progress feels slow, eventually builds momentum. Consistency compounds. Small actions repeated over time can produce remarkable results. This is actually something that we work through inside my mentorship and accountability program. Many entrepreneurs don't struggle because they lack ambition. They struggle because they're navigating these challenges alone, without structure, without clarity, or without support. Inside the program, we focus on building sustainable progress, developing focus, and maintaining consistency so your vision actually moves forward. If that sounds like something that would support you in this season, you'll find more details in the description below. Every entrepreneur makes mistakes. That's part of the journey. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is learning faster, adjusting quicker, and continuing to move forward. Sometimes avoiding just one of these mistakes can save you months or even years. Before we finish, I'd love to hear from you. Which one of these mistakes do you think is the most common for new entrepreneurs? Or if you're already building something, which one have you personally experienced? Let me know in the comments. And if this episode has helped you reflect or gain clarity, feel free to like, share, and send it to someone who's building something of their own. And I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great day. Bye.